Welcome, everybody, to session 3 of Making It Work. We talk to successful solo business owners in 2025, deep dive with them to try and find out what makes them successful, how they're running their businesses, what strategies they use, how they've pivoted as technology changes, and what mindset shifts have helped them to grow and adapt and stay ahead. So today we're doing a pre-recorded webinar just because that's the way that the schedules have worked. And we're talking with a long-time rounded customer, a long-time rounded collaborator, and that is the graphic designer, Jeremy Mura. Welcome, Jeremy, back
What's
again
up?
for
What's
more.
up? Long time, that's correct. Been a while, but
Yeah, so
yeah,
look, obviously, even though it's been a while, things have changed. We're now looking at a time where client budgets are under pressure. AI is absolutely everywhere. Graphic design as a skill has been commoditized. Technology's getting involved. Everything feels more crowded. But obviously, even in this landscape, it is possible to survive. It's possible to thrive. We're going to spend some time with you today just understanding a little bit more about how you've been managing that huge shift.
perfect. I'm excited, man. Thanks for having me on.
No worries. So, look, I think just as a bit of context for everybody who's watching, you're not just a graphic designer. You've spent a lot of time building up an audience, especially on YouTube. I think the last time we did a webinar, we were talking specifically about generating passive income through
Yeah.
creating courses and content online. And you've built a huge global audience of people that look to you for design advice and cutting edge information. You've got a really powerful example of how you can thrive and adapt in an ever-changing market. So I'd just like to start at the beginning, Jeremy. What
Sure.
drew you to design, and why did you choose to kind of build your own business rather than working for someone else?
That's always a great question. Back to the start. I feel like I've always been a creative person. My dad was into IT and building computers and running a business, and my mum was all about music, creativity, art, stuff like that. And so I just grew up in that environment. I liked building things, drawing. I loved drawing. I loved creating things, and I feel like that's what led me to design, just that innate giftings and abilities. And just I loved, interacting with cool products out there. I loved seeing posters or going to the museum and seeing cool things. And I just think that design is a part of everyday life, and I was just really into it. And yeah, once I went into design, went to uni, did all that stuff, did internships, I really found myself being more of a opportunist and taking initiative and being a leader. And I liked the juggling of multiple skills. And so I really went more into the freelance sector instead of working for someone else. I did work in a few agencies, here and there early on in my career, but I just found more joy and fulfillment working for myself and getting those clients and grinding and, building a personal brand. And yeah, I found it just to be more fulfilling and just fun with those challenges, learning business, learning creativity, project management, how to pitch, how to sell, all those things. Like I just found it really fun. I've stuck with it and it's paid off in the end. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Congratulations. I'm keen on kind of also understanding a little bit behind the mindset of the multi-channel approach. So, you've not just put all your eggs in one basket and said, this is the box I'm in, I'm a graphic designer. You've chosen also to adapt through the influence of social media to learn how to use that, to understand that your skills are also something that you can commoditize for yourself and other people will pay to
Definitely.
learn from you. And I'm just interested, was that an organic thing or did you make a real conscious effort to say, right, you know what, I'm going to start a YouTube channel?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people start out just by like winging it. But for me, I sort of had a plan. I listened to a lot of entrepreneurs online. I was a very avid user of like YouTube and I was in the digital space a lot. And I just learned to build wealth and to attract an audience was the most important thing. Like once you build an audience, you can always sell products. And so building my online presence was my main priority. And even for my final university assignment, my final project was to build my personal brand. So I did a website, I did like my invoice template, I did a business card, I did all these cool little things to launch myself into that sort of freelance world. But yeah, so I realized that there's value in building an audience. There's value in putting your face out there because it builds confidence. You can attract leads through content. Instead of being a hunter and trying to hunt one client down, you're actually attracting people to yourself because you become a person of value. And so I was all about how can I share, how can I teach, how can I give back to others? And at the same time, I'm helping people, then people just want to help me back because it's a law, a universal law of giving and receiving. And so, yeah, that was sort of my mindset. And I was always thinking long term, like 10 years ahead ahead instead of like the quick short term, because it took so many years to build my audience, build the trust. And, now I've worked with so many different clients like Logitech and Adobe and Framer and Shutterstock and all these cool brands, but it took a lot of time and consistency.
I think the word consistency is something that I think I'll try and come back to later because I think that's really important for anybody building their own business and doing anything. Obviously, the industry that you're in, the creative industry, the latest challenge that it has had to overcome or is adapting to is obviously AI. And AI is everywhere. Everybody wants to talk about it. We see in rounded certain demographics of our customer base that have been impacted by it, whether you're a writer or a designer or whatever. Where are you at with AI? What are your thoughts? How are you using it? Are you scared of it? Are you embracing it? I bet you're embracing it, but what's your sort of overall thought about AI and what it's doing to your industry?
I feel like I'm more of a positive, I have an optimistic view of it. Obviously, for the illustrators and hand drawing artists and all those people have probably been more affected than me because I'm more of a creator than a designer. And because I position myself as a creator, I'm actually getting all the AI companies wanting to work with me for like brand sponsorships and collaborations. So for me, I'm benefiting from it. But I do feel for those people that have built a handcraft style over many, many years, and now people can just use Midjourney or Firefly and just generate a style in a few clicks, right? Through text prompts. So for me, I'm fully embracing it because AI and technology is not going to go away. And so if we don't leverage it in our business, then you're just going to fall behind, and you might as well just get a day job and do design on the side. I feel like eventually all the tools are going to have the same features, like background removal or select to edit. Like Photoshop has that, and all the tools have the same thing. So I feel like it'll eventually become like that. But for me, I'm using it every day. I'm using GPT for writing emails or doing a bit of research or just tweaking some content, some captions, things like that. And then using image generators like Adobe Firefly, Midjourney, Dream Machine, things like that to, create images, create characters. One good example is like stock photography. I barely use that now because I have AI to create a custom vibe because stock is so boring and bland, right? So for client projects, I get to have a bit of fun, layer on textures, combine styles. I feel like for the solo designer, it's great, but for bigger companies, it's probably not as good now because people can get something designed for really cheap. And so that's the bit of the problem now because it's sort of lowered. People expect more for less now. So it has affected a lot of other designers in the industry, I feel like. But yeah, that's just sort of where my head's at.
Is there anything you're not using AI for? Like that you've thought, nah, I don't want to use it for that?
Good question. I'm not using it for logo design. I still create my logos from scratch and my brand identities, but the mood boarding process and storyboarding research, inspiration, stock photography and things like that, I'm using it for, but I'm not logo design. It just doesn't hit the marks, but I'll just use it for inspiration.
Interesting. In the last episode that we did, we were talking to Rashida, blog writer. She's worked with a lot of very big companies, very, very successful. She said that she started using AI to help write first drafts of blog posts.
Yeah.
But then she realized that instantly it was like she stopped using a muscle.
Correct.
And that
correct.
she began to get sort of fearful of the blank page and she couldn't then. So she said, I had to be really disciplined and say, I'm not going to use AI to start with. I'll use it for refining. I'll use it for research and for certain things. But this is actually diminishing my ability to be able to do my job. Just wondered if there's anything you found, anything similar in your side of things.
Yeah, I have cut back on GPT writing every single thing because I've noticed you start to lose your voice, and other people have been noticing it too. I also saw a post from a company that did a study recently, and it's saying that people aren't using their brain as good anymore. So their thinking capacities are actually decreasing because they're relying on GPT to write them every single little thing. So for me, I've cut back when I'm writing captions. Like I want to write how I talk. It's easy to spot AI writing now, especially on Twitter and LinkedIn. There's just something about it, the structure of it or the way it's written, you can tell. And so for me, I'm cutting back so I can keep thinking and have that muscle I built over so many years of creating content and writing hooks and headlines and stuff. That's a copywriting skill that you can't really mimic. So yeah, I agree with her on that. Yeah, you got to be careful. Don't rely on it too much.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things we hear about a lot is creatives are now really trying to think about how they position themselves as a contrast to AI, to talk to their clients and say, well, yes, AI can do X, Y, and Z, but really this is where my value is. And I'd just love to deep dive into conversations you're having with your clients, obviously without sharing anything too interesting, but how are you positioning AI as a tool that enhances what you do, but also making sure that you're not falling for that, well, I can just get AI to design a logo. Why would I pay you to do it?
Well, definitely. So I see it as you have to become a partner with your client and not just do design. Like what's very popular is doing like subscription services that you can have an agency and just serve one part of the market, whether it's tech or whatever industry. For me, it's all about how can I partner with my client? How can I be of service? How can I just like create stuff for them, whether it's content, websites, branding, or even generating a content strategy, because all businesses should be creating content these days. That's the best way to attract, instead of doing paid stuff. For me, I'm constantly thinking about how I can help my client in other areas. Like, for example, one client I was helping them set up a Kajabi community and setting up automations with Zapier. That's a service I offer on the side for the people who have already done design. I've done the design of the website, and now I'm offering other stuff on the side because I've learned how to use technology and AI for my benefit and to help my clients as well. They can use the same tools that I'm using. And I just say, hey, you can set up an automation, or you can set up a community, or you can sell an online product, whatever it is. And so that's why it's good to have multiple skills, but you can't just focus on design now. You got to go beyond that and see how else you can help your clients. But yeah, I think clients do also value that one-on-one relationship. They value your expertise and like having that coaching type of consulting relationship. That's where the value is, because your client's not going to be online watching content and YouTube and researching and stuff. Whereas I'm on the computer all day watching what's happening. I'm getting the latest news, latest tech. So I can actually update my client, help them, whereas they're busy running their business. So
Yeah. Do you think clients see AI as a way to cut corners?
Of course, of course. All the smaller budget clients and smaller people who don't have funding, they should be using AI. Like they shouldn't be really hiring people. I always tell designers, always try and go for people who are rich, that actually have more money to play with, people that actually have income coming in because they're willing to spend more. Whereas if you're just going to compete against all the bottom people, it's going to be a bit harder. As you said before, we need to position ourselves as someone who uses AI or just more handcrafted, or you need to niche down even more, learn those extra skills like automation and setting up products and stuff instead of just design.
Yep, your position there around going after the clients with more money, I would say that there's some confidence there that's been built over,
Of
many
course,
years of
yeah.
you honing your craft. If you had to give some advice to an up and coming designer around perhaps gaining the confidence to go and pitch for something that they might not naturally think they could win, or trying to hunt out a new client that might be bigger than what they're used to dealing with, what advice would you give to a designer like that?
Yeah, good question. I'd say a lot of it is about your confidence and getting referrals, because people only buy from who they know, like, and trust. So you need to get into rooms and circles where there's other business owners, successful business owners. So you need to make friends with business people, not just design. Like one suggestion would be go work for someone that is running an agency, a lean agency, like design business, and work for them and see how they do it. And they'll teach you the ropes. So that's one thing to do. Other thing is, yeah, connect with business people, get in the right circles, because then those people will refer you to other people. I have one client, he's given me 4 or 5 projects, and he's connected me with other clients because I built that trust over time. And sometimes I do free work for him. I don't charge him for every single thing. He's like, hey bro, can you do me a quick mock-up? Hey, I need a quick landing page, and I'll give him a mate's rates or whatever. Like that's totally fine. It's all about relationship, maintaining trust, and then referrals. And then look, once again, it's about consistency. I think the best thing to do is just share your work, like post it a lot, because you get used to people critiquing you. You get used to like just sharing your work in progress instead of trying to polish everything up. And then, have a great portfolio and just keep building it, keep refining, getting better. That's all you can really do. There's no shortcuts.
Fair enough. And I mean, look, you've built a really strong personal brand. You've got multiple income streams to your business. I can just tell by talking to you, you've always had that energy and curiosity and
Thanks.
willingness to learn, what the next thing. So what's next for you? What are you most excited about now? Where are you heading towards in terms of what's the next kind of string to Jeremy Mura's bow?
There's always ideas floating in my mind, but it's not good to just attack every single one. The saying, if you chase many foxes, you never chase any. But if you chase one, you catch it. For me right now, I want to build a community. I did it about 4 or 5 years ago, but I want to relaunch that because it's hard when you're working from home freelancing, and some people are introverted. They're always on the computer, so they're not really meeting people. So I feel like having a community and then doing live events, I think that's the way to go. That's where the future is going. It's all about being community focused instead of tool and design focused. It's all about like connecting each other in real life, bringing back that humanity instead of just being on the tools all day. So yeah, I want to build a community and then have in-life workshops or events that will be good to connect designers. And then what else? I'm doing a bit more coaching these days. So yeah, I just want to help other people achieve goals. Like I had a call with another guy recently. He was a motion designer and he said he lost his job and he needed some guidance. And so yeah, I just like helping people who may have been affected by the industry, and I'm trying to teach them a mindset that to get out there and build your personal brand. And if you're passionate about design, you got to work for it and you got to put in the effort, or else it's not going to magically come to you.
Did you have a mentor when you started out or somebody that you looked to for guidance?
Yeah, I did. I had one of my teachers, he owns a studio called Blue Melon. They're in Manly, actually, and he's worked with big clients like LinkedIn and stuff. And so he taught me a lot of stuff. And I used to always ask questions to him, like, how much should I price? How should I talk to this client? Like, what should I include in an identity, blah, blah. So early on, he was one of my mentors. I just reached out here and there. And another mentor, Lisa Hastings, she was a creative director. She was my second internship I got. She was always there. She gave me some freelance work, referrals. And whenever I needed some help, I would always ask questions because she worked for like big FMCG brands and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I think having those two people that were older than me, more experienced, really helped me along my journey because we want to avoid as many mistakes as possible and just stay humble and ask questions and learn. So that really helped me.
That's great that you're now paying back. And as an aside, I don't know if you remember, but you actually introduced me to Lisa Hastings a few years ago, and I did a webinar with her too.
Awesome.
That's great. So I want to come back to the concept of consistency, word that you mentioned up front at the beginning of the podcast. And again, I think about, okay, so you've got to be consistent about honing your craft and your skill and delivering client work. You've got to be consistent about trying to go out there and find a way to find new clients. You've got to be consistent about doing your business admin and making sure that your business is running smoothly. And then if you want to build a community or you want to do a side hustle and create a course, you've got to be consistent about new content and everything else. And it's like, where does it stop? So I'm just kind of interested in how do you find a way to maintain consistency with all those things?
So for me personally, what I do is I currently have an editor that's offshore and he helps me with the YouTube stuff. So if I just focus on one day recording one YouTube video, then I hand it off to him. He'll deliver it in like say 3 days. And so each week I can deliver one YouTube video, and typically that video will have like a brand sponsor in it as well. So I'm making money from that. So that helps alleviate editing because I identified that editing was basically one of the longer tasks that take a lot of my time. So I need to be doing high value tasks. So that helps me. And then I do have some freelancers here and there that I use sometimes, but majority of the time when it comes to like visual identity and stuff, I'm very fast with that. And like brand strategy and stuff, I use ChatGPT to summarize my discovery workshops that I have with my clients. So that's really easy, helps me transition my process a lot faster. And then from that, like usually I do some batching during the week. So like I'll batch a couple reels for the week or some carousel posts. But look, it's not always perfect. Some days I do find myself short on time. Like I have two kids, one of them goes to daycare, one of them doesn't. So I'm constantly balancing time with my wife and kids and also work. So I typically don't try and work too late. And then I try and find ways where AI can come in that helps. Like for example, Rounded's really quick when it has like the expense suggestions and it uses AI so I can quickly do like my income and expenses really fast. So that's one tool that helps me out. But yeah, look, these days I do like try and think like, hey, some months it's like less clients and some months I have a lot of clients. As long as I know that I'm constantly providing value, I'm constantly teaching what I know, sharing content, sharing designs. Sometimes I just repurpose old content, old portfolio work, old client work, even sometimes just redoing an old video, copying someone else's video, but just doing it in my formula. That helps me save time. So yeah, look, that's sort of how I do it. There's no secret. It's just about being disciplined. Like when you sit down to work, make sure you're just working, I drop my kid off at daycare, come back with 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock and just work. I do 2 to 3 hour blocks and then eat lunch, work out, and then do another block in the afternoon. And yeah, I find a lot of people get distracted and procrastinate. If you just really just focus and you just get stuff done, you'll get stuff done.
How do you structure your day?
I use Google Calendar to do time blocks. So I've got like things color coded. So like personal, work and content, video calls with clients, and then health stuff like for gym or like taking a break for a walk. So my mornings are always like reading and walking, praying, meditating, cooking breakfast. And then I take my kids to daycare. And then when I get back, that's when I'm doing more of the heavy stuff during like the morning to the afternoon. I do video recording, researching content ideas. And then if I have any design clients, I try and do that in the afternoon. In the morning, I'm more active and I want to focus on building things for like my brand. Like I got to work on templates or work on a video or my own products. And then afternoon, I work on client stuff. And that just helps me stay in the flow. So I'm not juggling too many things.
Interesting. And then the next question about that is how do you minimize distractions? Because, you can have the Google Calendar looking all nice and colorful and everything blocked out. And then it's like, oh, I'll just pick up my phone or I'll just click on this link that somebody's just sent me. How do you minimize distractions so you can focus?
I put my phone on do not disturb and I put it in my drawer or I put it in another room. That helps. Also, I make my wife aware like, hey, I'm going to be working for 3 hours. I don't want any disturbance. So just getting alignment with your partner, I think is key as well. And for me, I just like putting house music on and just working. So it's like no lyrics and I can work. If I put a podcast on, I can get distracted or watching videos. That's distracting. I do have like WhatsApp and Slack and stuff, but I usually close that. Even Discord. So I just like, I'll go do not disturb and just put my head down and work. And if my energy is dropping, I'll go have a coffee or I'll go do a quick workout or go for a walk and just reset and then come back. Because there's no point trying to force creativity if your body's not feeling right. So you got to keep moving and stretching and all that stuff.
What's your favorite thing to do in your business, Jeremy? What do you absolutely love doing?
I love teaching and teaching others and showing them cool tools. And I think that's why I gravitate towards content more than design. Like I make more money with content and courses and stuff. So I just like teaching others and helping them get clients and be successful. Like I had a guy, he's been following me for 5 years or something. And he took my courses and coaching and all these things. And like now he's doing 10K projects. And it's like, oh, can you give me feedback on this project? He's from France. And it was like a full identity, 50 plus pages of mock-ups and brand guidelines. And it was just great work. I'm like, dude, you don't need any more feedback, man. You're great. You're great now. So like go and do your thing. You don't need me anymore. It's just a great feeling when you're helping someone become successful when they started from scratch. Yeah. I love
That's
that
great.
feeling.
That's great. So as we begin maybe to wrap up and we might have a look at some of the questions that have come in from the feed. Finish this sentence. In 2025 and beyond, the designers who are thriving will be the ones who.
The ones who are constantly learning new skills, adapting to new platforms, and not afraid to use AI in their process. They're willing to take risks and not just settle for what we've done in the past, but the ones who take charge and take risks. So, yeah.
Have you done some courses or have you done some content on how to use AI?
I have a course on Skillshare. And I cover GPT, Midjourney, and Adobe Firefly. So yeah, if you do want to get started on AI, I do have a short course that I did about a year ago. But yeah, I'm going to be working on some more courses specific. I want to be more specific in some more tools because there's a lot in some of these tools now. Like it's crazy what you can do. But yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll make sure that we get the link to that course. We'll make sure that we get it for you because, again, it's such a huge topic right now and everybody's trying to get better at using it, especially if you're a creative of any kind. It seems like it's mandatory that you have at least a foundational set of AI skills. Yeah. So in the lead up to this, we asked our audience to send in some questions. We have one from Christine who says, Jeremy Mura is awesome. That's the first, that's the starting point. So that's pretty good. She said, I would love to know how he manages evolving business changes for solo designers. For example, new pricing models, new client offerings, engaging with partnerships, all while maintaining steady revenue goals, billable hours for regular client work and allocated time. This includes time for continuing to lead generation and build a steady pipeline. These activities in business development take up time for onboarding, learning, setting up new systems, updating and maintaining software. So I think it's quite similar to the question that I asked you, but have another go.
If you can partner with someone that can handle the content side and admin, all that, that'll be great. And ops, and then one person focuses on the creative. I'm seeing that a lot. Multidisciplinary designers are partnering up and starting agencies, and they focus, say, on Web3 or tech or restaurants or whatever. Like they're being very niche, and they offer full service like branding and web design and development using Framer or Webflow. So that's one way to tackle this because content takes a lot of time. I'm creating content like at least 2 days a week. It takes to do videos, research, feedback to my editor, all that stuff. So if you can have someone can help you with that, that's great. If you don't, you need to start batching and having a calendar. I use Notion to track all my content and stuff and my sponsorships and my client work. I have a timeline. You can get the template on my website. It's a paid template. But anyway, so yeah, that's just one idea. Also think of adding more value to clients with the subscription model. I avoid hourly completely. I usually do subscription or project based because it's the easiest. So, think about like how you can charge 1,000 a month or 2,000 and give them unlimited design, but like one task at a time, not just a bunch, like heaps of tasks, and have a system that allows the client to get anything done. Like if they need a Canva template or they need a logo for a new project or a report or something. So just start thinking like that. How can I add more value to my client? How can I make the process smooth without back and forth all the time? And just have that clear communication. I even have clients on WhatsApp. Like I don't even need fancy stuff. You just want to keep that communication open. Learn new AI tools, but don't just learn anything. Stick with the big ones. Midjourney is one of the best ones for image gen, and it also has video now, which is great. There's a cool one called Flora AI that uses nodes, and you can connect any model AI to that software, and then it can generate anything you want, and you can connect it. So the text and the image and the video all in one. Get good at using one software and just sticking with it long term, because you can get shiny object syndrome. You're looking around all these new ones out there, but it's better to stick with a few good ones. I hope that helps.
Yeah, thanks. All right, and the last couple of questions. So, for anybody who wants to teach online or to launch a product, what could you sort of identify as one mistake that you've made and one thing that's truly worked for you in that regard when you've done that?
I'd say having a wait list and doing like pre-launch instead of just like launching something and hoping people are going to buy. It doesn't work like that. You need to constantly be talking about it, sharing it in your stories, on your feed, on social media. A lot of people build in public these days. They're like, set a challenge for 60 days, or they say, hey, I'm building this app, and you just share updates. People like seeing that. They like seeing the process and the founder behind it. When it comes to courses, you always got to make them as practical as possible. Have projects where people can practice what you're teaching. Don't just do theory heavy. Have extra resources, bonuses, make sure that you're available to answer questions. And then for me, I use templates. Early on, I just winged it, but now I've got like a structure. I create a shot list of all my camera shots I'm going to do. I have a clear Dropbox structure as well that helps me keep things neat and tidy and unclog my mind. So those are some of the things. But look, you only learn by doing it, taking risks and figuring it out. So yeah.
And a mistake to avoid?
Do one thing at a time. Making a course or a product might seem like there's a mountain in front of you. So break down the task into smaller bite-sized modules and pieces and tasks. That's going to help you tackle it one by one. And each day, don't try and do everything. Just try and do 3 tasks or a few of the things. Write the landing page copy on one day. And the other day, work on the design or the inspiration. Then the other day, writing the emails to sell or whatever. And use templates as much as you can. I wish I used more templates back in the day. Now there's so many free resources online. It makes everything faster. So yeah.
Cool. And the final question, what one bit of advice would the Jeremy of today give to the Jeremy of 15 years ago when you were just starting out and a bit green and taking your first steps into building your own business? Yeah. If you could know one thing then that you knew now, what would it be?
Invest in Bitcoin.
Yeah, fair enough.
Nah, I would say maybe learn to manage people better and build a bit of a team instead of trying to do everything yourself. Because there's been times where I've been burnt out and stressed because I'm trying to do everything myself. But I find that it's good to work with people around you and build a trusted list of people that can help you on projects and help you scale, because you don't want to stay small. You want to think bigger and take more risks, because, when you get older, you get more responsibilities like having family and kids. I can't take that many risks now. I have to be more calculated and have to be careful because I've got a family to feed now. So when you're younger, just take more risks, man. And yeah, that's it.
Well, I think that's a really great place to finish, Jeremy. So just on behalf of everybody at Rounded, everybody that's going to watch this, as always, it's great to talk to you. I love your energy, your enthusiasm, your ideas, and just the sheer passion for what it is you do. Thank you also for your support and being a great Rounded customer with giving us great feedback over the years. We really appreciate it. So thank you, Jeremy. And we'll certainly be calling on you again in a few years to see how you're going. Thanks a lot.
Perfect. Thanks so much. Cheers.